Hey man, this is SMURF Luciano, KERBY BLOCC CRlP's finest out of Portland, Oregon. Shout out DustyVisionTV.
Last time we talked about you getting shot back in 1989. I wanted to actually touch more on that because it's a deep story. And you were set, for anybody out there who didn't check out the first interview, you were set to go to the University of Oregon on a scholarship. And I believe it was your 11th grade year. Your life turned upside down and your dreams were dashed, and that led to you're walking with a limp to this day from that specific incident. But I would like to talk to you about, what you were going through around that time, specifically the next day when you woke up after getting shot. What emotions were you going through? Were you mad? Did you want revenge? Talk to me.
Man, when I got shot, let me tell you what happened. What transpired before me getting shot was my grandmother had a friend that lived right across the street from the school where we hung out at all the time. And her friend that came over previously, because he was our yard man. He would come cut the yard and stuff. But my grandmother was from Texas, Galveston, and the yard man was from Galveston. They knew each other since high school. So he came over and told my grandma, like, "Hey, I see SMURF. He's hanging out with these KERBY BLOCC CRlPs. He's over there every day. My grandson is from KERBY, and your grandson and my grandma's son will be together every day. They into some gang stuff." So my grandmother asked me, she said, "Hey, are you hanging out with the gangs? Are you from KERBY?" I said, "No." I said, "Them was my friends. I played basketball with them, but I ain't really crippin' like that, Grandma." She said, "Whatever you do, don't straddle the fence. Either you want to be in or you want to be out. If something happened to you, I want you to really be a part of it or to not have been involved at all." I said, "Yeah, okay, Grandma." And the next day, I left school early from Lincoln High School, went back to our neighborhood in Northeast Portland. We got into it with some local bloods from Portland, and the LA bloods came back around there. We went to square off with them, fight, and they started shooting, and I got shot. So when the ambulance pulled up, I knew I was shot because I couldn't move. My leg was broke. I was turning around backwards. The ambulance pulled up and the news pulled up at the time, because back then the news would pull up whenever there was a shooting.
Wow, they just follow the ambulance. Yeah.
They just follow the ambulance. So when they picked me up off the ground, I covered my face up with my arm to cover my face up because I didn't want my grandmother to see me on the news at the time. But I had a pistol in my pocket when they picked me up off the ground. So when I woke up a week later, because I had 10 different surgeries in that week because it hit the artery. And I basically had bled out. Got mouth-to-mouth bled out. The tight tourniquet on me. And on my ride to the ambulance, all I could think of was, damn, I hope my grandmother don't find out that I was over here and got shot. In my mind, I was thinking that I was going to be able to go home with a flesh wound. And that wasn't the case. They hit the artery and broke the bone. My femur was broken, and so I had to. I didn't wake up for a week later. I woke up a week later after I'd been through 10 surgeries. What was on my mind was trying to convince my grandmother that I really wasn't in the gang. So I would have been banging like a motherfucker.
Damn, that was your main concern right there. Not, I guess, disappointing Grandma.
Not disappointing Grandma, because Grandma knew I was an athlete. She had taken care of me when my parents was on crack cocaine, and I just didn't want to let her down.
Your grandma said something that Boosie, the rapper, said similar in a Vlad TV interview. He said, basically, you can't straddle the fence. He said you can't have one foot in the street and one foot on the stage. Basically, either you're going to be an entertainer or you're going to be a gangster. It's really hard, almost if not impossible, to be both.
You know what? It's a trip that you say that, right? So I went to jail in, I got shot in 89, shot the dude in 1990. In 91, my first son was on the way, and I had caught a case. I beat like 2 cases before that. In 91, I caught a pistol case. And I went in front of the judge. And the judge said, "Well, hey, what do you have going on?" You know, they do all the stuff for the preliminary. "So what do you got going on?" So I go to college. He said, "Mr. Norman, you've been in my courtroom 2 or 3 different times. and for some reason you're always in school and you always got a gun, you're out late at night with guns and dope, the daytime you're in school, you can't straddle the fence and be a scholar in the daytime and a gangster at night. So I'm going to give you 6 months to go think about what you want to do with your life. That was the first time I went to the penitentiary. Wow. I was already turned on from when I got shot, though. Once I got shot, it wasn't nothing but all smoke from there.
Oh, okay. So you went gung-ho, I think you said last time.
Yeah, it was all smoke from there. And the scholar thing just had me to where I almost felt like I could manipulate the system if I did things according to the book. Not be seen, do what you're going to do at nighttime, don't be seen, don't hindsight, don't brag. Like they do nowadays on this internet and the social media. I was never that kind of guy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of OGs or, people who are in it 20 plus years ago who say the same thing. These kids are flashing everything and they're literally making the police's job easy for them, dog.
Even right now where I'm from, if a police officer was to pull up to me from my era, they would feel like this dude got away with so many things. We need something to be able to catch him on something. But because I'm not into the flashiness, I do music, I promote my entertainment, but I don't talk about really my gangbanging side. That's in the past. That's where I'm from. That's the reality of my life. The music is entertainment. It's an art. I ain't Lil Boosie. I ain't Mozzie, Lavish D. I'm not none of them dudes. They rap about what they've been through and what they did. My whole thing been it's always been entertainment with me. And so any music you might hear of mine is entertainment. I might talk about the past on some of the music, but I never talk about what's going on now or what I foresee happening in the present.
Good. And that's why I very rarely interview people, under, 38, 40, I like to talk to people who have been out of the life. I don't want to talk to some guy who's 22 and he brings up a crime that one of his homeboys did yesterday on my show, which is another reason why I don't really go live, because this is a kind of a, the gang life is touchy and I don't want some dummy to say something on my show. Next thing you know, I got the feds wanted to subpoena episode 43 where I interviewed such and such.
Because they will subpoena it. Like I said, when I did God on Gangsters on the Move, they subpoenaed the video that we done, and they played the video in the courtroom while I was on trial facing a life sentence. Damn. And the song was called Heavy on the Grind by my group Gangsters on the Move. And we rapped about selling dope and doing shootings, but we weren't really rapping about what we really did. We was just rapping about it because it was entertaining and it fit the sentence. But when the government got a hold of the video and they played it for the jury couldn't decipher what was real and what was entertainment.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of niggas to them.
That's all they're saying. So from there forward, I ain't rapped about a gun, a shooting, nothing ever since. I might rap about some hoes. I might rap about some money. But I ain't rapping nothing about no gang lifestyle.
Yep, and I did notice that, actually, when I listen to your music. But, yeah, I think it's really dumb, and I think you're really dumb out there if you put a gun in your video. And if you haven't heard stories of people who have gotten in trouble because they flashed a gun that was involved in a crime or something like that, then you know what? It's kind of on you. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that I've pretty much prided myself on. If you look at all my videos, you might see some gangs in there, some gang members in there. But the gun thing, I don't do the gun thing. That's an instant case.
Yeah,
and then I want to say, at the same time, I lost two of my little homies from Portland since the last interview I did with you. They wasn't from Kirby, but one was from Rolling 60s, and the other one was from CBC, another gang out of Portland. Guy named Banked Up Benzie, he signed over there with Lavish D. And then Tinson, who was also out of Oklahoma, but he lived in Portland as well. I want to say rest in peace to them dudes. Yeah, Banked Up Benzie was tight. He was over there with Lavish D. They had good movement going on with the Banked Up. Yeah, it's tough when you know they got it and they can really make it, and they get cut short. That hurts. That really hurts.
I would actually like to talk about an experience that you had back in 1998. You started your own label, Two Real Records, and your biggest artist at the time gets arrested for murder, and you know, hindsight being 2020, he spent 22 years. He just got out last year. I remember you saying that on the last interview. You experienced that, you know, 22 years ago. Take me back to that time in '98. You know, your label's cracking, and then this happens.
We had the label. The label was cracking. We had just came back out of North Carolina. North Carolina was like a cash cow for us. I took like 15 of my little homeboys over there. We started doing our rap thing over there in North Carolina. Really, we started going to the studio, recording songs in the Kakalaka. And then we went back home to Portland. At the time, I had a warrant in Portland for attempted murder on the police. Police had tried to pull me over. We was in a heavy beef with some cats out of California at the time. Police tried to pull us over. Some shots was fired. And one of the officers ended up pointing me out and saying I was one of the guys that fired the shots at him. And at the time, when they was looking for me, I had left and went to North Carolina. When I left and went to North Carolina, all the crew, the niggas that was riding with me, I took them all with me. From 17 to 23-year-olds, I took like 15 cats to North Carolina. We lived out there in Charlotte on East Crest. I bought my first house over there in Charlotte. I left Portland with about $900 and came back to Portland with $250,000 in 6 months in North Carolina. And it was beautiful. And all that happened while I was on the run and the police was looking for me. So my artists ended up getting arrested. Once I put my group together, got them, got to the move. DT the Mouthpiece, myself, and Infamous One Mo. Infamous One Mo was from KERBY. He's the one that ended up going to jail for the robbery murder later on when I went to jail for the shed. And DT the Mouthpiece, may he rest in peace, ended up dying. He OD'd. But that was our group right there, Gangsters on the Move. And then from there, we just kind of intertwined. Anybody that hung out with our crew or was a part of our movement was a part of Gangsters on the Move. So Mr. Wamo went and did 22 years for the robbery murder. He just got back out of jail. He's been out of jail maybe 6 months. And he's back doing music. And at the time, we had the town on lock. We were like the next thing to blow. We almost were like an NWA. We had the windbreaker jackets. We had the slaps from my boy Bosco. And Bosco did a lot of stuff for E40.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about one of the best producers in the game. Bosco!
Bosco hot. And he had a couple of tracks for us. And the town was on us. The whole West Coast was feeling us. We was dealing with Juice out of the Bay. He legit, you know, mess with the Clicks, E40. We had some good movement going on. Feds came and got me, took me down. And then the Feds came and got Mo for the robbery murder while I was down fighting the life sentence for 30 years.
You eventually were hoping to go legit with the music thing, right?
My whole plan when I got the money out of North Carolina, being on the run, was to go legit with the music. Mm-hmm. That was everything. And just because I was gone and fighting the case, it left room for my artists to catch a case. So even though I was trying to go legit, once I went to jail and they took me away from the situation, it made it hard on everybody. But at the end of the day, Infamous One Mo is out now, like I say, and we're doing music again. And he got an album coming out 22 years later. He's like the X-rated out of Portland.
That's dope. Did he record while he was behind bars by any chance?
He recorded a few songs, but we never put them out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always intrigued. I'm a hip hop nerd, so that shit intrigued. Because you mentioned X-rated, so that's why I just brought up in my head. But I've always found it fascinating, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s when it wasn't easy to record an album from prison. These motherfuckers were releasing albums and selling 150,000, 200,000.
Yeah, good, making good music.
Yes. Crazy shit, man. Nowadays it's easy. I actually talked to a couple guys locked up who have albums right now, and they're doing 25 to life. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, they made it a whole lot easier. I mean, from the digital, from the ADOT to the digital, made it a lot easier. I want everybody to go look up Lil Face. Lil Face was my homeboy from KERBY BLOCC. Lil Face got put out here in Portland, Oregon. Lil Face was hot though. Lil Face and Jay Diggs had a song together.
Is he on YouTube?
He's on YouTube. Lil Face and T Nutty.
Lil Face tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Much love and respect, and rest in peace to Lil Face.
Yeah, I see Crippin' too. Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a song on there called Blue Rag with Lil Face, T Nutty, and Fidel Castro. That's another good song. But my guy Lil Face, his daddy helped start our set.
It's Blue
Big
Bandana,
Face.
Right?
Blue Bandana.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Go ahead.
His dad helped start KERBY BLOCC CRlP, Big Face. So when our OGs, we look up to the nigga. He's doing gang prevention things right now, working with the youth. And his son was just one of those products of the game. He was a great guy. He wasn't the bully. He wasn't the presser. If you started, he would finish, but he really was into this music thing and entertaining, even though he was from the set.
Yeah.
One night he got called downtown to the strip club. He thought he was talking to a female. It was a setup the whole time. When he pulled up, the little dudes came out, knocked him down.
And I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying this because I'm looking at a picture of him right now called
Good young dude.
Timing, and he's at a strip club. It looks like he's looking up at a girl.
Good young dude.
Damn.
Oh yeah, he got the white stockings on or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good young dude, handsome young guy. He had his shit together. He wasn't like most gangbangers because when his dad did 22 years on a murder. He was one of the first dudes to come up from California, start cripping in Portland. Dad did 22 years on a murder. And while he was gone, his mom raised him. So he played soccer. He was in a group called the Gents and Gentlemen. And then when his dad got out, he always had love for cripping. So he got from the set and he ended up getting killed. And I just tell my guy all the time, be careful, bro, because you are cool with everybody. Being cool with everybody don't work when you gangbang.
Oh, especially, right?
Not when you're gangbanging. And so, the pimp thing got kind of cool. Cat started knocking holes and sending holes. He was a handsome little young guy. Bitches liked him. And at the end of the day, that's how he found his demise, was going to the strip club, thinking it was a female, and the whole time it was a setup by these dudes that ended up killing him. One of the young guys even had an ankle monitor on. When he shot the gun, he had an ankle monitor on. I mean, the police called him within 10 minutes, though. But that don't bring him back.
Damn, dog. Now, I appreciate you bringing that up because, see, these are the type of things that we need to hear about, the Lil Faces of the world. If you wouldn't have said that right now, I mean, his name could just, you basically keep his name alive is what I'm saying. I'm going to definitely play a song at the end of this show, too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It gives me chills right now because I seen the little dude when he was 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, watched him grow up. And then before he got killed, I talked to him hours before he got killed, so he was one of the ones who I just knew he was going to make it because he wasn't like everybody else. And then a lot of times when they say people pick their prey, they pick the ones that they think might be the most easiest versus somebody who they don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
You don't want to pull up on a guy going to shoot.
Right.
You'd rather he be talking to females or something like that, but to me, that's the most cowardly thing for a person to do is to do something like on that level. Hide behind the internet and do that kind of shit.
Damn, dog.
But that's the world that we live in right now. It's an internet world. And a lot of people even sign up gangbanging on the internet nowadays.
Isn't that crazy, dog?
It's very crazy.
Wow, go ahead.
I come from being in the hood. You got to pull up on the set. You got to hang out on the set. You might get your ass whooped and leave. But if you really with it, when you come back after ass whooping, you got your teeth knocked out, broken rib, and you come back, he with it. But the cool thing about it is, them is some of the most deadly motherfuckers right now. Motherfuckers that signed up on the internet.
Explain it.
Just, they signed up on the internet. They done played all these video games, or they shot people on the internet on the video game. They killed people on the video game, and they want to see what a person really look like when they jump out and pop them. Yeah, go to jail, and then you figure out this ain't the lifestyle for me. And then you want to be, and then all of a sudden you don't want to be from the gang no more. You want to do some different shit.
You just reminded me of a lot of people who I see on my Instagram stories selling perks and selling lean, and they're doing it on their Instagram story. I'm like, man, that's just too much. That's like walking to the mall, walking the parking lot, and there's a car with the trunk open, and there's a TV right there. Like, that's just too much of a setup. Like, come on, dog.
Or a sign on their neck. I got lean and perks for sale.
Exactly, dog. No shit. Or this is my favorite, homie. I see this daily almost. I'm not bullshitting you. I see this. People would be like, all right, someone will post on their story, who got them perk 30s, tag your plug. And then motherfuckers will start tagging their plugs in the comments.
No, they don't.
I swear to motherfucking, if anybody did that to me, I would be like, you dumb like, I'm not bullshitting you, dog. I see this with my own eyes.
You know, you ain't never supposed to give up your plug. Your plug is all you got. When it comes down to it, that's like your word and your balls.
Different time than when you were coming up, homie. Different time.
I'm not in the loop no more.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And this is just me as an outsider. I see this as an outsider. I'm like, if I see this, I know the police see this and the feds, and they're just kicking up their feet, and you know they're just watching DJ Vlad all day, and they're just watching certain interviews, and these guys are just leaking shit out, man. It's really, really crazy.